Hey everybody, I'm BGM, or Bigger Gayer Magic, and on today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the recently spoiled Spongebob Secret Lairs. There are 3 Secret Lairs in total, and we're going to be starting with Spongebob Internet Sensation Secret Lair first. The first card we're looking at today is Daze. It's a 2-mana mono blue instant, and it's a counter spell. We're going to be evaluating all the cards today from a Commander perspective, because I only really play Commander, I ain't touching any other formats, that's just me personally. Daze says that you may return an island you control to its owner's hand rather than pay its mana cost, and you can counter a spell unless your opponent pays 1. I'm not really a counterspell person. I don't think counterspells as a theme is like a fun theme. And also, this particular counterspell is really easy to work around. If you got 1 extra mana, your spell will resolve. I don't know. I think it fits really thematically with the art they chose, which is one of the SpongeBob memes. The SpongeBob Internet Sensation Secret Lair is based on the popularized SpongeBob memes. And I love a meme, so I like this. I just kind of wish it was a more impactful card, especially in Commander. A lot of people can surprise 1 mana out, so oftentimes when you think they're tapped out, they're not really. I don't know. It's not for me. But we're going to check out the next one. We got an Inevitable Betrayal. Inevitable Betrayal is a suspend sorcery, again in blue. I like this meme a lot better. I think this one is a lot better looking than the last one. This one's got Patrick on it, looking super menacing. It's got suspend 3, so we can cast it for 3, put 3 time counters on it in 3 turns. We can search target opponent's library for a creature card, and put that card onto the battlefield under your control that player shuffles. I like this a lot, actually. This feels a little bit like that buyback blue spell that gets something out of the graveyard, or what's that blue spell that grabs something from someone's deck? Inevitable Betrayal will let us search our opponent's library and slam down a creature from their deck for free, once we, get all the time counters off it after we suspend it. I like this a lot. This feels a lot more fun in Commander. It kind of rewards you for knowing what's in your opponent's deck. If you know what their spiciest thing is, you know whose opponent's deck to search and then plop that thing directly onto the battlefield. I like this one a lot better than Daze. What do we got next? Okay, we got Force of Despair. We got Squidward looking longingly at SpongeBob and Patrick having fun outside. This 3-mana mono-black instant says if it's not your turn, you may exile a black card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Destroy all creatures that entered this turn. It's a 3-drop black board wipe that kills everything that entered. So if you have a friend who's popping down a lot of tokens at instant speed, this can wipe their board. Or maybe if they have a mass recursion spell and they take everything from their graveyard, plop it back down, we can use Squidward's Jealousy to wipe their board. I like that a lot. It is a little situational, though. I don't know. Feel pretty good. I like the art. Next, we got Knight's Whisper. Knight's Whisper is a 2-drop mono-black sorcery. We draw 2 cards, we lose 2 life. It's very black card draw. We lose a little bit of life, we draw some cards. It's low CMC, it's only 2. The art's really cool. It's got Squidward popping his eyes open with the glass breaking effect from the show, if you remember. It's cool. It's just a simple card draw spell. Next, we got Counterspell, and this is the most beautiful counterspell ever printed. You can't tell me otherwise. This thing's amazing. No notes. Alright, we are moving on to the Legends of Bikini Bottom Secret Lair. First, we're going to take a look at Mr. Krabs' Penny Pincher. It's a legendary 4-drop, and its original printing was Charix the Raging Isle. It's a 0/17. He is very thick in the back. This thing says the spells your opponents cast that target Mr. Krabs cost 2 more to cast. It's kind of like Ward 2. And you can pay 3, and Mr. Crab gets +X until end of turn, where X is the amount of islands you control. This is cool. I think we did see one other card in the Secret Lair that cares about islands. Next, we have Plankton, Tiny Tyrant, and he's Skrelv Deflector Mite. Skrelv Deflector Mite came out in All Will Be One. He's a little legendary 1-drop, and he's kind of like Mother of Runes, but worse, because you gotta pay mana. This thing's cool though. I enjoy Skrelv. Skrelv's got Toxic 1 and Skrelv can't block, but he can protect your board pieces. Nope, he can just protect your creatures. It's cool. He's kind of like a little legendary Mother of Runes. Next, we got Sandy Cheeks, the Martial Astronaut. This thing is Toski, Bearer of Secrets. Toski is a very popular card in Commander because he puts draw triggers on your creatures when they deal combat damage. Also, he's an indestructible 1/1, and he has to attack. Toski never blocking, unless Toski's got Vigilance. I like Toski. This is a no-brainer for me. This is a good card. I like this design. I like the art they picked. Yeah, great. No notes on Sandy. Everybody likes Toski, and this is probably going to be the most expensive version. Hey, it's Gary the Snail, and he's a 7-mana Toxrill. Okay, Gary's Toxrill, and I don't like that, But if you want to be a sweaty Toxtril player, you can look and you can play Gary the Snail. It's a 7-drop black and blue commander. It's a slug horror, and at the beginning of each end step, we put a slime counter on each creature that is not under our control, and those slime counters act like -1/-1 counters. And whenever a creature with slime counters on it dies, we make a 1/1 snail. Excuse me, a black slug. We make a 1/1 black slug. We can then later use that slug, pay 2 mana, sacrifice the slug, draw a card off Toxtril. I'm not a big fan of Toxtril. Toxtril is, in my opinion, one of the most miserable decks to play against in Commander. Just my opinion. I'm not telling you what to play. That's my opinion. I don't like Toxtril. I don't like that he had a reprint, but I love Gary. So Gary gets a pass. But just the Gary version. Next we got Squidward, Sarcastic Snob. It's a 3-mana, mono blue, Grazilix Ithlid Scholar. This thing, I believe, came out in either D&D or the Baldur's Gate expansion. And this legendary 3-drop says whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to your hand. And whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card. So again, this is like Toski, but not nearly as good. Because Toski, if we scroll back up to Sandy, whenever a creature deals combat damage to a player, we draw a card. If we scroll back down to Squidward, the Sarcastic Snob, he only does it once per turn. We're only ever going to draw 1 card off the combat damage trigger with Squidward because it says 1 or more. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but you know what? I don't mind it. Also, the art's pretty cool. There's been some buzz that the art on the Spongebob Secret Lair doesn't look too good. There's a lot of buzz that it looks very Canva-esque. But SpongeBob wasn't a very high-fidelity show to start with, so I'm not sure if I agree with that criticism. This criticism, okay, I don't like this. Let's talk about it. So we got Patrick Star. It's a 7-mana, 6/5 legendary human warrior with no abilities, who was originally named Barktooth Warbeard. I hate this. I hate this a lot. It's a cool joke. It's an effective joke because it's Patrick with a nail and a board in his head, showing him that he's stupid, and this is a stupid card. It's bad on rate, right? So we got 7 mana for a 6/5 that doesn't have any abilities. Why is this in here? You could have done something better. It could have been Yargle. If it was Yargle, it at least would have been funny. I don't know. The creature type doesn't work. The art's cool. I don't know. If I'm not gonna buy the Secret Lair. I'm not typically a Secret Lair person. I don't like this. I feel insulted. I wish it did something. Why couldn't you print a card that did something? Alright, now let's talk about Spongebob SquarePants, a 5-mana legendary 5/5 reprint of Jodah the Unifier. Jodah the Unifier is a 5-mana legendary, and it's simply the best legendary that cares about legendaries, because it says that legendary creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the amount of legendary creatures you control, and whenever you cast yourself a legendary spell, doesn't have to be a legendary creature, it can be a legendary spell, you cascade. You get a legendary cascade, and you exile cards off the top of your library. And so you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value, and you may cast that card without paying for it, and you put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Jodah the Unifier is a menace on MTG Arena. No one likes getting matched up with Jodah, but Jodah's a really effective Brawl commander on Arena because he's really effective at getting your dailies done. But not a lot of people like to see it. And Jodah is super easy to build. You could stuff a Jodah deck with only stupid legendaries that don't have abilities, and your Jodah deck will still function pretty good because of this Anthem effect on SpongeBob or Jodah. I don't know. Like, people are already a little upset about SpongeBob existing in Magic already. They made him like the sweatiest 5-color commander. In my opinion, Jodah is the best 5-color commander if we're going for like straight just win viability. Jodah's also a really easy build because you don't gotta work hard. As long as all your cards say legendary, or most of your cards say legendary, the deck's gonna cast itself off the Jodah triggers. Design-wise, this card looks beautiful. I love the rainbow. I'm glad it's sparkly. This is a cool looking design. I don't want to hang out with more Jodah players, to be real with you. Jodah goes hardcore, and the deck wins without really trying, in my opinion. So that's our 5-color commander, and it's cool that they included a 5-color commander in the Secret Lair, because then you can stuff all the cards you got in the Secret Lair into your SpongeBob commander. So that's cool, so that's good, but also I don't like seeing Jodah. Next, we are moving on to the lands in the token, which is the 3rd Secret Lair, we saw the internet sensations, we saw the legends of Bikini Bottoms. Now we're moving on to the food tokens and the basic lands. This is our food token, and if you're uneducated, this is a Krabby Patty. No, we don't know the secret formula. So we can sacrifice this token, get a little food. This is cool. I don't mind it. I feel like a lot of people have already made Krabby Patty token, like Krabby Patty food tokens before, so I don't feel like this even really treads new ground. I don't know what's going on right here, right here, right here. I want to say that's mayo. Also, I don't think I've ever looked at a Krabby Patty this close before. Let's move on to the basics. So all the basics have the same kind of theme or motif as Gary traveling around the different locations of Bikini Bottom. This is a mountain. I'm not sure what episode this is. If you know, please put it in the comments. Next, we're gonna move on to the forest. So we got the kelp forest here. The kelp forest has made appearances in multiple episodes. It's just another backdrop for the series. If you remember the campfire song, or the campfire song episode, that took place in the kelp forest. We got Gary venturing into the kelp forest. Next, we have the plains. We have jellyfish fields from the jellyfishing episode. If you remember the hooky episode where SpongeBob and Patrick are playing hooky, like, it's a joke about skipping school and the dangers of drugs for kids because people are fishing with fish hooks. Takes place in jellyfish fields. Very silly episode. Still remember it as a kid. Next, we got swamp. Swamp is, I want to say that's the chum bucket? I don't know. I want to say that's the chum bucket, but it doesn't look like the chum bucket. Guys, I'm a fake fan. I'm not sure what the swamp is referencing. Next, we have an island, and the island is of Gary looking down on Bikini Bottom from one of the sets during the opening song. I don't mind this. This feels wholesome. Out of all the lands, I think my favorite is probably the plains for Jellyfish Fields or the island for Bikini Bottom. And that's all the secret lair reveals, y'all. How do you guys feel about the SpongeBob secret lairs? Do you think it should exist? Do you think it should not exist? Are you upset about it? Are you upset about the people being upset about it? I don't know. I'm pretty ambivalent at this point. It's SpongeBob. He there. I kind of hope this opens the door to other Nickelodeon properties, like Avatar, which we do know is a set coming up. What other Nickelodeon? I don't know. Maybe a Fairy Odd Parents secret lair could be cool? I don't know. I'm pretty ambivalent to the SpongeBob secret lairs. I'm not mad at them for existing, but also I'm definitely not gonna buy it. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments, and thank you for watching one of my very first long-form YouTube videos. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end of my video. I typically don't make videos that are longer than a minute and a half. I'm very much a short-form person. But thank you for sticking through this with me, and this very special thank you to my patrons who help me pay my rent and feed my dog. See you guys next time. Here's a clip I made when they announced the SpongeBob secret lair. I'm gonna tap for 3 and attempt to cast Bring It Around Town. I'm gonna try to blink my jellyfish net, which will untap it when it re-enters, and also my It's a Rock, which will give me its entering trigger again. In response to the Bring It Around Town, I'm gonna tap for 4 and attempt to cast Rip Your Pants. I'm gonna counter Bring It Around Town unless you sacrifice an equipment artifact. You cast a spell during an opponent's turn. That's gonna trigger my mediocre Squidward. I'm gonna put 2 depression counters on it. We gotta do something about the Squidward player, or they're gonna put another burst counter on their campfire song enchantment, and we have to listen to them sing it all again. CMPFRROSONG song, CMPFRROSONG song. If you don't think that I can sing it faster.